So I am so excited to introduce our second speaker of the night. Her name is Rachel Kelly, and she's a community builder, founder of Make Lemonade, and she also has 3 fun facts. So number 1, she's been to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. She rides a motorcycle, and she used to run a yoga and beer series across the city. Rachel, come on up and share your fuck up.
Hi. Okay. I don't have a $1 million question. I have a $13,000 question. What would you spend $13,000 on? Maybe you would buy 72 pairs of Blundstones. Maybe you would invest that money. Perhaps you would buy a car. Maybe you'd buy 14,000 boxes of Timbits. The options are endless, right? I want you to think about that number. What would you invest, or how would you spend $13,000 if you had the opportunity? I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit, but first, I'm going to tell you about a much less investment I made. This blue couch. It was definitely not $13,000, but it was a hefty investment at that time. I had just been offered my first ever salary position in 2016. And at that time, I had been freelancing for my entire career. I was kind of a Jill of all trades. I was very much a, you pay me money, I'll Google it and figure it out. And so one of my freelance clients had offered me a full-time salaried position to work for their company. So like any normal young adult, I said, heck yes, and I bought a couch. Great plan, except that the day before I was supposed to start working for them, she actually came back to me and said, sorry, never mind, can you continue freelancing for me? Yeah. So that definitely was not my fuck up, but that was definitely a fuck me moment for sure. Yeah. So I spent about a week being pretty bitter about the whole situation, and I thought to myself, well, what the hell am I going to do now? I'd always wanted to start my own company. I had grown really tired of working for myself, either from coffee shops or home alone. As a freelancer, I was pretty lonely, and I was pretty sad and envious of all of my friends who got to have those awesome, epic holiday parties. As an independent person working for yourself, I never got to go to any of those holiday parties. So one thing led to another. And I decided, I think opening a co-working space could be a pretty cool idea. So let's flash forward 10 months later, and I leased a 5-year term on a co-working space, or an office space in downtown Toronto. I pitched my parents on the idea. They had just sold their company, so they helped me invest in starting up this co-working space. Pretty smart idea. I'm pretty smart with my money. Let's start this job. Let's buy a couch. Let's just open up a co-working space. How hard could it be, right? Famous last words. So let me enter in fuck up number 1. These little fuckers. This is this keychain. Super, super cute. They had our little tagline. It said, create, dream, and get shit done. And honestly, I still believe that. But it took me until 2020 to get rid of the last keychain. I really was so fixated on the details when I was opening up this co-working space. I thought that, of course, anybody who wanted to join the co-working community, Make Lemonade, would definitely be sold on the idea of joining the community because they would get this epic keychain. So we're on a roll. Let's head into fuck up number 2. The co-working space is open. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, how could you not want to be here, right? So if you look over on the right, these gorgeous custom-made wooden desks, those cost me $10,000. Yeah, not very smart with how I'm investing my money at that time. So again, the details. I was so fixated on how I was going to present the space that I was kind of forgetting about the key part of actually what I was doing, and it was building a community. So let's enter in fuck up number 3. My press release. There was nothing wrong with the press release. In fact, it was perfect, and I loved working with the publicists that I was working with. The problem is, it went out on September 18th, 2017. That was the exact day that I opened the co-working space. Now, you might be thinking, well, what's the problem? Well, I had no idea what I was doing on September 18th. I was so fixated on the desks, on the keychains, I didn't know how to sell a single day pass. I didn't know how to sell a single membership. I remember the first person coming in, hey, can I come co-work here for the day? Sure, come on in. I didn't know how to charge them. I didn't know how to take the money. I did not know what I was doing. So, the press release did work, though. It led to a lot of fantastic press. Make Lemonade was all over the place, and I really was able to garner this fantastic community of women entrepreneurs in downtown Toronto. And I would ask the question, how did you find out about Make Lemonade? I saw it online. I saw you on Instagram. And it's all pretty shiny, and everything's looking pretty darn good, right? Well, this is a little bit more of how I was feeling. I was burning from the inside. I was like, I am going to combust. Things are going terribly. So there's nothing wrong with having all this press and all this attention, but when you're brand new into the world of entrepreneurship, you kind of go head first, and you're kind of just like making shit up as you go. And up until this point in my life, this is really only a couple of months into the business, I had never, ever experienced anxiety. Crazy, right? I never felt that before in my life. And so I was like, what is this feeling? And I actually reached out to a couple of my friends and was like, I'm so sorry for the way I treated you when you were telling me about the anxiety you were experiencing. I get it now. I understand that stress sweats smell very differently than regular sweats. So I learned about imposter syndrome, I learned about confusion, and I honestly just kept asking myself, what the hell have I done? I have made a huge mistake. Well, I've got this co-working space. I'm the only person working there. I'm running this space, and I'm having people come in. And in the span of 1 week, 3 horrible things happened. 1, I lost my grandfather. 2, I lost a friend of mine. And on top of it all, I was going through a breakup. So in the matter of a week, I needed somebody to help me run my business because I had places to go. I needed to see family and kind of deal with what was going on in my life. And so I put out this post on Facebook and was like, can you help me run the business for the day? I will have everything in order for what you need to do. So during that time, that actually, it was a hard time, but it also forced me to get my systems in order. A lot of us in the entrepreneurship world, we hear about this word called SOPs. You got to get your SOPs in order, standard operating procedures. And I figured it out in probably about 48 hours. And it was a great way to get me set up. So let's flash forward a little bit. Things are starting to go fine. And I start to get things figured out. I end up going to therapy. I get the systems in order. At some point in this time, a fancy company from Germany reaches out and says, hey, we'd like to buy Make Lemonade. We want to take it globally. We want to open up co-working spaces all around the world. Pretty darn cool, right? Pretty darn fancy. So I talked to some other friends in the co-working world who maybe have had some of those similar conversations. I talked to my lawyer, and of all the people, my lawyer said, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta trust your gut. And so that's exactly what I did. If my lawyer is telling me I have to trust my gut, I guess I gotta trust my gut. And so you might think that this is a fuck up, but I said, no, sorry, I don't want your millions of dollars. I want to do the hard work myself instead. I'm just getting started. Why would I take your help? So, flash forward. This is February 2020. Yes. Why are we sad? It's February 2020. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Everything is fantastic. January was the most amazing sales month. February, most amazing sales month. We had a pancake party. Things are fantastic. I'm looking around at the space. Wow, I've finally done it. I've reached my version of success. This is exactly how I imagined things would go. I'm Julie Andrews. What could go wrong? Well, we all know what happened in March of 2020, and this scene became pretty familiar. This is my makeshift desk at the time, and within the matter of a week, really, my entire business model was out the window. I had a fantastic team member at the time, and we got to work. Within one day, we were like, let's figure out a plan of how we are going to keep our community engaged. We have this fantastic community in real life. They can't come meet us in real life anymore. Okay, let's make up virtual co-working. So we offered free virtual co-working for a week. It was going really, really well. So we said, hey, this pandemic's only gonna last about 4 weeks. Let's start the 4-week challenge. So we sold out the 4-week challenge to 40 fantastic community members. The pandemic's still going. Let's do another 4 weeks. So we sell it out to another 40 people. Hey, it's been 2 months. We should start a membership. So we start the Get Shit Done Club. The Get Shit Done Club is a virtual co-working community for entrepreneurs. We're still running the Get Shit Done Club to this day. And honestly, this had been my scene for the past year and a half into the pandemic. We managed with the openings and the closings and the lockdowns and the latest soup du jour of how we're going to get people to come into the space while also running the physical co-working doors and the online community. But something was shifting for me. I was getting really, really freaking tired. I wasn't feeling like Julie Andrews anymore, that's for sure. I was feeling burnt out. I was really tired of looking at my screen, and more importantly, I was very tired of looking at my accounting statement and seeing that things were not going the way that they were supposed to. It was a hard decision, but it was really obvious. I needed to close the co-working space doors, and I told my community, but we're still gonna run the online community. It was pretty hard. The response from the community was overwhelming. The amount of people who were so sad and were sharing all of these stories of how Make Lemonade had impacted their experience of being an entrepreneur, of being a woman in business in Toronto. It was fantastic, but I still knew that I was doing what was right for me, what was right for my business. At the end of the day, I'm the business owner, and I need to feel good about this. So, we're back to that $13,000 question. We're at the end of 2021, and my mom is the chief bookkeeping officer, chief financial officer of Make Lemonade, and she goes through all of my accounting statements every single month. And she's fantastic. Thank God for Vita Kelly. And so she says, Rachel, this fiscal year alone, you have spent $13,000 on personal and professional development. Why do you keep spending money on courses? You have 5 years of business experience. You know things. Stop going to courses. And I wanted to be like, shut up, Mom. Leave me alone, Mom. But instead, this like roar from deep within was just like, I don't believe in myself. And yeah, like that was really scary, and quite frankly, it really sucked to admit that I I realized like I was signing up for all these courses. I was searching for these answers. Help me solve this problem. Help me figure out how to make a little bit more money. Help me solve the problem of the pandemic. How can I make my business survive when I'm in a pandemic? So back to therapy. Back to therapy, back to figuring out my new systems. My fantastic team member ended up going to work for another company. I was downsizing, and I finally had some peace and quiet, some time to really think for myself. I was continuing running the Get Shit Done Club, the online community, but things were really starting to shift for me. I was no longer feeling fully. Wow, I don't even know what I was feeling. I was no longer feeling fully invigorated in what I was doing. I think I finally realized that for the past year and a half, 2 years, I had been running completely on adrenaline. And so I couldn't stop thinking about this article that I saw in Toronto Life about a woman who quit her job to become a florist. And I thought, I'm pretty crafty. How hard could that be? So here we are. I've just completed floristry school. I've just received my diploma, and I am now a florist. Thank you. I'm still running my virtual co-working community, but my schedule has shifted a lot. I started to realize that I was spending more time in front of my computer than I was with actually interacting with people and using my hands in other ways that wasn't a laptop. So this is the coolest part of the story, is that I pivoted and I've shifted so much, but I trusted my gut and I knew that my community would have my back. So I've already booked 3 weddings without pitching myself whatsoever. They are all from the community and referrals based on what I've built. So here we are now, and really my lessons and my reflections on all of this is that no matter how many fuck-ups or no matter what the journey takes you on, nothing is ever wasted. Honestly, I really can't remember what the last part of what I wanted to say in here, so maybe we'll just end it here.
I think that was a perfect ending. I think that was the perfect way to end it. That was a
Fuck up number 5.
Story. Rachel, thank you so much for sharing. So we have time for maybe 2 questions, if we can get through them quickly. Okay.
Hey.
Thanks. Well, it's a cheating. I don't actually have a question. I've been to Make Lemonade. It was an amazing place, and thank you so much. I think I saw Make Lemonade still on like the sign. Yeah. I mean, thank you so much. And also, okay, I guess I have a question. So when you, now you're a florist, that's amazing. If you were to like pivot again, I know it's too early for you to like think about this, but what would it be like for example, in 10 years, in 5 years? Because I think that things might shift again. For everyone, for you including, so what that would be for you the best step?
Yeah, what am I up to next week? I'm opening a restaurant. So I've actually got this question a lot of like, so are you going to open another co-working space? I'm like, you don't understand, I'm in so much debt. Absolutely not. But I have these visions or versions of the way that I could imagine things would go. Maybe there'll be some like cool floral cafe, co-working community. But I mean, honestly, who knows? Like a couple months ago, I had no idea that I was going to go into floristry. So, you know, maybe I'll be the next movie star. Who knows?
Hey Rachel, hi, I loved your story, and I'm not from an entrepreneurial world really, so I don't know much, but Like, do you regret not selling your business to the European offer that you received? Like, honestly, I don't know much about this world, so I'm really asking, like, yeah.
Let me just, stop crying about it. No. No, honestly, it's a great question. And of course, like during the pandemic, I was like, oh my God, like what was I thinking? But also like, I regretted buying my really expensive bicycle like 10 years ago. I've cried on the phone to my mom, be like, I shouldn't have paid for this bike. Whenever you're not feeling strapped for cash, you think about the most expensive thing you have and be like, I never should have bought that. But honestly, no, I really don't. Like it was a really cool opportunity, but it still wasn't really the right move at the time, or I think even then. Short answer, no.
I see there is someone like waiting to ask a question there, and that will be the last one for this talk.
Hi, I'm a female entrepreneur. I just wanted to learn a little bit more about your membership. Sounds really cool.
Okay, awesome. So the Get Shit Done Club is only $97 a month. It's a virtual co-working community. It's all about accountability. We have about 80 members inside the community. We meet 3 times a week. We have different style calls. Monday is Magic Motivation, where we always connect you with a different lemon, another member inside the community. We host a variety of different types of calls. Sometimes we do things called work sprints. They're exactly as they sound. We work together. We're not actually running, but we're like sprinting, trying to get our shit done. We're always saying, this is what we want help with. But the coolest thing is that we've got this awesome community. So when you're struggling with a solution for your business, you have all these other entrepreneurs to be able to work through it. So the real magic is that there's this fantastic network in there with a couple of facilitated calls too. I can chat with you after.
Yeah, no, we should. That's so awesome.
All right, so if you didn't have a chance to ask your question, don't worry. The speakers are all going to be sticking around, and you can chat in person as well. Awesome, Rachel. Thank you so much again for sharing your story. That was awesome.